Undergrunt.
Hey, May, your date's here.
How'd I look?
Where you get that dress?
Borrowed it.
It don't fit you, man. It's too tight.
I don't plan on wearing it that long.
Ugh, I don't know why you got dressed at all.
In a small little ship in the center of Mars was a sack of souls with experiment scars. When the psychedelic monk said, "I'll take two," and he put them in a rocket and he ate a lot of glue. And he shot them straight to Earth where they turned into babies. They were named from that, and they rarely got rabies. And the monk made a movie of their whole entire lives. They were panoramic scenes and zooms of the time. And one time Bob had sex with a ladle, and one time Matt lost a vet to a cradle, and another time Bob caught a dinosaur mom, and another time Matt bought a replica of Guam. And all this and more is on a DVD set, only $20.99 with the purchase of a gem. But if you call right now and say, "Where's my whisk?" we'll include this bonus disc.
Hey, welcome to Bonus Disc. I'm one of your hosts, Bob Rose, and with me is another one of the hosts, Matt P.A.
Trying to kill me, Bob. Trying to kill me.
And with us is a very first time guest.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
What's your name?
I'm Caitlin. Caitlin Knight. Here I am.
Name quick.
Quick, hurry, we're gonna
I
explode!
didn't know you were just gonna start yelling off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm here.
So, tonight, we watched 10 minutes of Alien Implant,
A good
Which
movie.
looks pretty good.
which looks
Yeah.
pretty good, so we're gonna
I'm gonna-
recommend that right off the bat.
Yeah, just check
I'm
it
gonna
out.
watch that later.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on
absolutely.
Amazon Prime. It's called Alien Implant. If you like women in sheds touching like goopy brain looking things, and if you like any
Yes.
type of
And
circuitry,
seeking revenge.
yes, circuitry, light bulbs, and like eyeball implants.
I mean,
Ooh,
whoa.
that
They're
was-
eye- they're
that was
eyes-
You're fucking burying the lead. This
It's
whole
amazing.
score of the movie is by
Ronaldi.
Ronaldo.
Oh, Ronaldi. We love Ronaldi.
I know. I didn't want to throw Ronaldi right at the...
Yeah. You'll know
I was gonna
Ronaldi.
get
Sell
to
the movie on its
You'll
own
know.
merits.
It's a
Yeah.
stepping block
It
to
doesn't need to
Ronaldi.
ride over
Yeah.
Ronaldi's coattails.
It's Madonna, Rihanna, Ronaldi. That's where we're at.
Jesus. And-
Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
But we turned off Alien Implant literally as a compliment because
Yeah.
it was just too good and
It
it
was too
seemed like it actually was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then we watched instead.
But that was also because there was not a single word spoken
Yes,
for 15
there's nothing to
minutes.
talk
It
about.
was very much
So-
like a West Side Story situation where I was like waiting and they were just snapping. But
Well, she had some inner monologue,
monologue.
but it still wasn't
Well,
enough.
eventually, but that
at
was
the
like
end.
15
Not enough.
minutes.
Right,
man.
yeah.
So then we decided on Reptilian,
Whew.
aka aka Reptile 2001, aka Young Gary.
That's
Which
Hungary.
I'm probably going to name this Reptilian because that's what it is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But I have no clue what the dominating
Actual.
name of this movie is.
Well,
It
the
doesn't-
version we watched is the
Reptilian.
enhanced version that they re-released in America.
the
Right.
sort of enhanced director's cut,
yeah.
the assembly cut of Young Gary.
The
A lot of
better
air quotes
CGI.
there,
Right, because how do we know? We don't really know.
We don't.
And like the tagline of this movie, which I just found out before we started recording, is "It's not what you expect." Which I got to say, whoever wrote it knew exactly what they were marketing.
They watched that movie and were like,
It's
yeah,
not.
we have to warn people. This is not what you
What do
think
you
it
think it
is.
is?
This
Is that about
not
the
it.
monster? No, it's just about
Oh,
the
no,
movie.
no.
It's just the movie.
Oh my god.
It's addressing the literal movie. It's
Yeah,
it's fine.
awesome.
Right.
And the cover, it looks exactly like the 1997 Godzilla. So
If you say so. Yeah.
it does.
Yeah, it does.
Caitlin,
I
I know
believe
you're
you.
not familiar with it, but it
I believe
does.
you.
It looks exactly like they were playing off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this was probably made kind of in the wake of that,
So we thought it was going to be like a knockoff. Like it
like
looked
a direct Korean sort
Yeah.
of knockoff to it.
Mhm.
Well, it wasn't.
It was not.
And we'll
at all.
get.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Let's
every moment
do
of
it.
that.
Oh yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, let's crack.
Let's
this bitch
crack.
open.
Let's
This
go.
movie's awesome.
You're right. I mean,
This
like,
fucking movie is
there's
crazy.
a good 30 minutes that's just things blowing up, so we should be able to get through this pretty quick.
So good.
And the characters
No.
all just well.
Wait. Let's get through
There
it.
we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
We start in a cave, right?
Oh,
a cave
with
system.
in the cave
yeah.
scene.
Yo,
Yeah,
you
we
forgot
do.
about.
Oh no!
'Cause it
Right
fe-
for a moment I did.
But it feels
yeah.
it feels like a million miles
because
away.
it was 2 years before the rest of the story happened. So 2 years,
Right,
yeah,
right, well,
before.
right.
But
Hold
we'll
on.
get to that. Okay.
Hold on.
So
we'll get to
it's
it.
a bunch
That's what we
of-
say. We'll get to it.
It's a
Wasteful.
bunch of people with like like miner's hats, dressed like they're in a spelunking or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking through a cave, and
Some tools.
this guy goes. There's just this guy with a flashlight, and he's like, "Should we wait for Dr. Hughes?" And then the most intense man on earth approaches him, and he's just like, "We gotta keep moving. What do you think? We have time to wait for Hughes?" Dude, the guy playing Dr. Campbell,
He looks
was
like he's
awesome.
doing brain
Oh
surgery
my
the whole time. Like
God.
he's
Yes.
concentrating on a scalpel while looking at people.
Yes, the
so
professor,
good.
right? Professor.
Yeah, Professor
Campbell.
Everyone is just like,
What's
he's
his name?
Professor
Campbell.
Professor Campbell.
Professor Campbell was the shit.
Yeah, I felt like he was bearing into my soul every time he spoke. I felt like every line was directed at me.
I don't
They
think
were
he-
tattooing his like
Yeah.
script lines on your chest
Yeah,
as he
it
says
was
them.
so strong, so bold. But right, so they're in this cave.
There's like in that first scene, there is a zoom on his face.
Yeah.
The camera like pushes in on his face,
I
so
don't
he's
think
saying
he
something.
blinked for
No.
like a really long time. In
No,
the
his
movie. Like,
eyes-
they never showed him.
His eyes were like a dried
Right.
sponge, man. He
No,
didn't
'cause
have
that's
any
weakness.
moisture.
If you blink, you're weak, and he was
Yeah.
not
He
weak.
is not
Yeah.
weak.
So it was like
So then, it cuts to another part of the cave where Hughes is like doing he's like fumbling
I know, he's
around.
just
I thought
being
he,
an
I
old
thought he had
man
a
in a
stroke.
cave.
Yeah, I thought he was like having an issue.
And
but
Hughes,
I don't know.
and Hughes is the old man.
It does taste like
He's the-
toast.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say Hughes is the old man from Saving Private Ryan that played the
Right.
old Matt Damon.
That's
I'm
what you.
almost
Yeah,
positive.
you
I'm
I'm
ID'd
almost
him as.
100% positive that's that guy.
I like how I didn't look that up, but I looked that other guy up, who's in
Right.
everything.
Everything.
I didn't even mention all the cartoons he was voices on. But
Oh my
anyway.
god.
Oh
It's
well,
insane. He was in like
um,
Batman.
Okay, so
Don't
the
even
most
worry about
important part of the cave part is that Professor Campbell comes upon
Like a glowing-
a
Hold on.
glowing
Hold on,
backwards
no,
it.
K.
wait. Yeah,
the
hold
lead
on.
up to it is amazing.
Yeah,
'cause he's like, there's a guy like looking with a flame. He's like, I don't know.
I don't think-
No. Hughes falls over and he goes, ah! And somebody goes, should we go get him? And he goes, shut up! Fuck that guy! There it is! And there is a glowing purple or red, like
It's like a backwards K.
It's a
backwards K. That's what it looked like.
Also,
yeah.
right
It was
before they
nuts.
get to that
Yes,
part,
there it is.
it sets
I
up
love Campbell.
right
man.
before they get to that part. It does set up kind of the effects because it shows them walking across this bridge in the cavern,
Oh, fuck
and it's
yeah.
obviously like a model bridge cavern, and it's like
Right.
little people that have been inserted.
Into
It's
it.
awesome looking,
Yes,
though.
right,
yeah,
right,
it's
right.
a real model with little people inserted.
It
in
reminded
it.
me
which
of
is
like
beautiful.
Crawl or something.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was like
It was
Crawl.
cool, man.
Yeah.
Right.
So they says there, and there's the glowing.
Backwards K.
Killer.
It looked like a backwards
Was
K.
it backwards K?
It looked
Yeah.
like a strike symbol that they put up at like baseball
Okay, it was like
games.
red, glowing,
Yes.
veiny.
Hi-
shit.
it was a
Rock.
hieroglyphic.
And then he's like, hey Jones, come over here and
Dig
dig
on
this,
that.
dig on it.
Yeah.
And he pulls a hatchet out.
right, and that guy is like, okay,
Okay.
and then
Oh, yeah, he
fucking
did. He
goes
said
to go
okay
dig
twice.
at it while fucking Professor Campbell hides behind a pillar.
You're right. And yeah, he literally like knows what's going to happen.
knows.
Completely.
How does
Which
he
is
know?
odd because he doesn't seem to believe in any of the other shit.
That's a really good point. That's a really good
Yeah,
point.
not to get ahead of us,
Yeah.
but if you really think about it, this guy obviously knew something was gonna happen.
Yeah, he was like, this is forward.
yeah,
but
I
all
guess
right,
you
I'll
could
go with
dismiss it like if he's
Fuck
gonna
it.
hit that glowing shit with an axe, I better just take cover.
I mean, it's a good instinct.
It's a good instinct. So
Right.
he axes into this thing, and it instantly
It
vaporizes
vaporizes.
everyone.
So good. Fire
See their
blasts.
skeleton.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, it actually looks really good.
Yeah, man. The
Yeah.
effects in this are kind of awesome.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Blade stabbing people. Like, it looked like the vampire deaths in Blade. Yeah. Duh! And it's a whole cave filled with fire, and then
all
Campbell's
dead.
fine.
Yeah.
Campbell's
Campbell
fine.
survives.
Well, it flashes to Hughes like getting up in the cave in front of this statue.
He's
of this
completely
weird-
unaffected by the explosion. He's
Right.
that
He
far
didn't even
away.
know. Yeah, that was happening.
But he's in front of some weird like skeleton that wearing a necklace, and the necklace glows, and then
Dude,
all the
it was like an angel. I was like, is this?
I did not know what it was at first.
It looked like an angel to me.
but
So
we know
did
what they are now.
Someone
Yeah.
take that off of the alien or no?
I mean,
Well,
we'll find that out. I mean, he does, but he doesn't there.
It
just
doesn't
shows
show
it
it.
glow there.
It just he
Shows
just
it glow.
he
And
kind
then
of just
all the-
sees it that it exists.
all the
Okay,
fire
okay.
that melted everybody like goes back
inside of it and
into the thing.
rebuilds the rock that it just
Right?
exploded.
Yeah,
from.
because
Right,
then
right.
it has all the hieroglyphics on it.
Right.
Right.
Oh,
And
that
he's
are
like-
glowing. Yep.
Yep.
And then Campbell's just like, it's mine.
Yeah.
Oh my Naomi
Right.
Campbell.
He has like an evil laugh
Yeah, he
and
does.
everything. It's awesome.
he
He's
does.
He is
so
of
intense.
one mind and one purpose is
Yeah.
this.
Totally.
So then we get an entire credit sequence that is way too long.
Beautiful though.
Beautifully
Really
done with
cool looking.
CG and hieroglyphs.
No Rinaldi.
No
music,
Rinaldi.
but
Rinaldi did
we've
not do the
got-
music.
Yeah, what was this guy's name? We don't even know.
I don't even remember. his
Not
name.
even
He
nowhere
had
Not
two
even
names.
Rinaldi.
Come on, man.
Fucking asshole. You think I got time to remember that shit?
No, I don't. It was like Chris. yeah.
It was 2001,
Boring.
dude. One
Yeah,
name. That's
exactly.
all you need.
That's all we need.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So,
Drake. That's it.
Yeah.
Done.
So the credits. We go through the credits.
Credits.
Yeah.
And then we're at the dig site, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
It goes immediately to.
Because Holly. We get Holly.
We get
in
Holly.
This, in this time.
Just a problematic person.
I-
Yeah, she's the
Everyone
worst.
has
She's
a
so-
fucking issue with Holly.
Dude,
She
she
is-
does nothing wrong or bad or evil or
No, she's
Absolutely
fine.
Not.
of ill
She's
intent.
absolutely fine.
Everyone hates her.
We're
immediately.
introduced to her, and she's like Campbell's right hand
Assistant, yep.
researcher.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of, I don't know, we're just workers.
Well, we
Right.
find out.
We find out
We'll
later.
find out later, but yeah,
Right.
they're just people that are helping with the excavation
yeah,
site
the
at
excavation
this,
of
where
it.
the glowing hieroglyphics were found. They decided
Right.
to excavate this area.
Right.
Yeah.
And at this part, don't they say like this is where he says how big the actual skeleton is?
Yes.
Because this is
Yes.
not long of a scene. It's like them saying like this skeleton could be as big as like 50 T-Rexes or something.
It's 50
And then-
times the size
then
of
it
T-Rex.
cuts. We find out like the general thing of what's happening,
no, that's
right?
way later. That's
Is
when
it?
he's saying.
Is
He
it?
says that in front of the cameraman.
Because right.
Yeah. He says that in front of the cameraman.
So
But how does the cameraman get introduced?
hold on, I know how that happens.
okay.
But we're like introduced to the dig site with Campbell saying like, "I will not stop at anything." To her, like she's like starting to get a little. We introduced to the fact that she's a little bit suspicious of him.
No.
and,
no,
like,
no,
There was
not
that moment
yet.
of that
Yeah.
that man in the bed with that woman for some reason, and he was like, "I got a juicy story for you," and she
Oh,
was on
yeah.
her chest. He was on his. She was on his chest.
That
and-
happened before the dig site.
Yeah. He was calling the.
I know
the
that happened.
cameraman
I thought it
guy.
cut to that after the
No, I
dig
think
site.
That's.
Okay, well, yeah, that there was the one with the guy in the bed with like I guess a hooker.
I don't know.
Wait, that was.
She had blue eyeshadow. That's all I
Yeah, I
knew.
know she
that was
did.
like that was like
She
the
looked.
biggest thing.
It looked like a hotel room, and she looked like
Right.
she was a lady of the night.
right, exactly. Because
Yeah.
they were really trying
And-
hard for that. Yeah.
We'll never see that guy again.
Yeah.
It
He doesn't come back.
It was him just saying. It was him calling his friend, and he was like, "I'll show this guy by putting him in." Like he knew it was a story that could get him killed, and he was like, "I'll tell him."
Someone
what was
else.
the photographer's name?
Oh wait, we do. Man, I don't. Fuck, man.
I don't
have
remember
no
that guy.
idea.
He calls the
cameraman.
photographer and he's like he's been in Time magazine or whatever, and he tells him, "Go to this dig site. Here's your story.
It's
Here's
about
your
a
big story.
dinosaur.
It's about a dinosaur." Right.
Yes,
But then it cuts to the photographer somewhere, and he goes, "Bear, I got it." Remember, we were
Yep.
like, "What the fuck is a bear?"
What
have
the
to do
fuck's
with
a
any of
bear?
this?
Right.
And then I guess then we go to the dig
and
site.
then you go to the dig site. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Right.
What
yes.
happens right at first at the dig site though? That's what I'm having a problem with.
That's like when the cameraman shows up in his car, and
Oh,
it's,
yeah,
it's just him and Holly
yeah, it's at
standing
night.
on like a rock.
It's at night, and he shows up in his cool car or whatever. It's not very cool. It's like
not
it's
very
like a
cool.
Cavalier or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like- yeah.
Yeah, and he goes up to talk to Campbell, and that's when Campbell like lays down the law on him. Like who?
Well, he
right?
shows up. No, not yet. When he first shows up, they're like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "Dude, I'm this guy." And he's like, "I don't know who the fuck you are." And she goes, "I know who he is. I read his article. This is some bullshit."
Right. Yes.
Yes,
Right.
in Time magazine.
Yeah, I read
As if
his
he's a
Time magazine.
legitimate
Time magazine.
fucking photographer. But this guy is like total.
He's a
I
tabloid
guess this
photographer.
is-
He's
I
a
guess
tabloid.
this is
paparazzi.
the only
Yeah.
like rude thing she does.
Right.
That's even that rude though.
It's not really.
No.
That
She was
rude.
giving
She's just,
pertinent
like-
information to who a
She
human
just didn't
was.
think he would respect what they were doing.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
enough,
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
Right.
He still worked for Time magazine.
However,
So I guess she does suck. You know what I mean? I
She
don't know. Maybe
deserves
on their
it.
side.
She deserves not
All
being
the
looked in the
hate.
eye.
psych.
Yeah.
That's like
not looked at throughout
Yeah,
the
right.
entire
man,
movie.
that is.
How
My
dare
God.
she?
Yeah. Right.
Right. And then it goes That's when somebody dies, right?
Immediately? No. You know what? I think what we missed is the spaceship showing up.
Oh my god!
I think before the guy.
I feel like
in the
this movie
bed-
was like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I know. I think
When
before
does
the
the
guy in the
spaceship come
bed.
in?
No, I feel like before the guy in the bed came in, we see the spaceship because it shows this like huge spaceship flying through
Yep.
space, and it comes and it approaches on the moon, and we were like, "What the hell is this movie?" Because the credit, you know what I mean? We
Not
saw
what you
the cave,
expect.
and then the credits, and then a spaceship.
Right.
And then it cut to the guy in the bed, and he was like, "I got a juicy story for you." And we were like, "I guess aliens." Remember?
Right. Yes.
Right. We
no,
thought
you're
he
right.
was going to say
We
aliens,
thought
and he goes,
it was the
and he
aliens,
goes
right?
dinosaur. And we're
There's
just like,
so
what
many
the
levels.
fuck?
There's
Yeah.
Yeah, this
so
movie
many
is crazy.
fucking levels.
I knew we
Yeah.
missed something. I was like,
Yeah.
"There's something before this."
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Because
that
also
happened.
when the ship shows up, it blows up that spaceship.
It blows up and a
The
satellite.
and a
Yeah,
satellite.
it blows up like a NASA shuttle.
Yeah,
with
and they're
people
like-
in it.
Yeah, they're like, we lost connection. It's missing. And they were like, okay.
Well,
They were
well,
like,
fine.
all
we gotta
right.
figure out how we lost
Yeah.
track
Yeah,
of them.
let's see where it is.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they were blown out of the
It was
sky by a
blown
laser
up.
beam.
It was
Yeah.
blown up.
But yeah, that happened. But it also shot a laser beam at Earth. Remember, it made that like shock wave
Oh yeah, at the dig
that
site.
only
It did. It
electrocuted
made that.
those two guys.
Yeah, but
it
that was,
ba-
yeah, so then that
it
happened later.
vaporized
Yeah.
those two dudes.
Because then someone runs up and is like, "We found
Campbell,
two
we
dead
found it.
bodies."
And then
Two
he
dead
comes out to
bodies.
inspect. That's when he finds like the power cord in the dirt.
Underneath.
Dude, that
of
made
the
no
dirt.
sense.
And then so all the workers are really concerned now. Why is he dying? He's
Right.
like, it's
They're
just an
digging
accident.
Up, they're
Right.
digging up a dinosaur
Tor.
fossil, and,
Right.
and they're what
And
did
people-
they like? I mean, you can see how deep they were into the ground. What cable was that?
Right.
It was so tiny too.
It was very
A power
tiny.
line buried in the dirt in the desert would be huge.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that movie,
there was no way for it to
it was like-
understand why it was there.
Yeah, it was about as thick as like a carrot.
Right.
It's like it would be huge. It'd be
Yeah.
enormous.
But then he like looks at the workers and he's like, all right,
It's an accident.
it's an accident. Get rid of the bodies. And they're like,
Whoa!
And
What?
Holly's like,
And
shouldn't
Holly-
we call the
authorities
authorities?
yeah, we should
before we
maybe
do anything?
contact someone that this is like they
Since
died
we're not
here.
criminals, we should probably
Yeah.
tell that somebody got vaporized with electricity.
They were fried
At
up.
this
Right.
point, Campbell's like,
He's
a
so
couple
far
years ago,
gone.
he saw like 9 men get destroyed.
Right.
He doesn't give
He
a
don't
fuck
Yeah.
at all.
He's
He's all
just
in.
like, it's part of it. Aren't you like dedicated to the cause? We're on the verge of the biggest discovery
Right,
of
right.
like the world. So he's like, just get rid of them. It's fine.
Right.
And they move on from these two people that died. And then the workers are like, he's like, oh, I'll double your salary. And they're like, oh, okay.
You heard the man.
Okay, well-
they were like, "You heard the man." That means
Yeah.
what? I joked
They're
around. I was
really-
like, "They're just gonna eat him." It's
Yeah.
like, so there's nothing
How are you
left, but-
destroying him? How
They're
do you
totally
know?
fine
Yeah.
with just
What
doing
did
it.
they do
Right.
with them? What the fuck did they do?
They are in a
with them?
desert. They probably
They're
throw them.
buried.
They're digging holes in a desert. They had plenty of
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah, I guess
Right,
so.
they just
Getting
were
rid of a
like,
body at a
over
dig
there.
site should be easy.
Right.
But that's so. But I don't
It's
know,
pretty
man.
dark. It's
crazy.
the movie doesn't give a fuck about how
Yeah.
dark
Right.
it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
So
just
then-
like, well, there we go. We're still on track, and Holly, this begins to be like,
Oh, and
what the fuck?
the
Yeah.
This all seems like these storylines would mean so much.
They
Yeah,
The
Oh.
photographer's like trying to take a
Don't.
picture of the dead bodies, and he's like, and he takes the camera away
He
from
rips
him.
the film out of the camera.
Doctor, Professor Campbell is like, you only take pictures of what I tell
Of
you
what I
to
tell
take
you to
pictures of. Yeah, and so he does that multiple times. He rips the fucking film
yeah.
out of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
camera, and it's like, don't take pictures.
It will
of that.
happen again.
It will.
I
will
allowed
happen
you, the
again.
photographer person, here, but I'm never gonna let you take any pictures.
Exactly. One picture once it's fully done. Okay.
A wide shot.
Yeah,
I
a
want
wide shot,
nothing
and that's
less.
it.
Close-ups. That's where he explains that the thing they're digging up is 50 times the size
Of a T-Rex.
Of a T-Rex. But then they
Yeah.
cut to a shot of them working on it, and it's like the size of a T-Rex.
Well, T-Rex
Yeah.
is about 25 feet high. That's
All right.
Okay, but the skull that they
The
showed you
skull-
definitely
Godzilla-
looks
Godzilla-
small.
Godzilla's-
the guy
Looks
standing
small.
next to the skull looked really
Godzilla's
fucking small.
traditionally like 200 feet high. So if young Gary was around that, I guess that kind of works out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Still looked too tiny.
But the way
it
they
still
shot
wasn't
it was
in scale
not.
with,
Did not look
with
that way.
other stuff. It still
We haven't
wasn't
even
in
gotten to
scale.
young Gary yet.
Oh, okay,
None of that has
okay,
happened.
Okay. Young Gary, yeah.
So that scene happens. I feel like we cut back to space, and that's when we first see the interior of the ship.
Oh my
right?
god, those puppet aliens are to die for.
They kind of
Like,
they kind of look like
Chuck E. Cheese
they
aliens.
look
Yeah,
like
they're like-
Rock-afire explosion aliens.
What is that? What is
Yeah.
that like Friday at Freddy's or like the
Freddy Fazbear's, right?
no the video game?
Yeah, that's
like
what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
Five
yeah.
Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just like the animatronic, like
Yeah.
alien things, and that's what those aliens
Chuck E.
look
Cheese,
like.
Rock-afire explosion, anything.
Oh,
Yeah, like
okay. Yeah.
Rivertown. Remember that? I don't know
Oh,
if that was
God.
national or just Baltimore, but yeah, it looks like an animatronic kid's pizza place.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what those aliens are.
What do
Yeah,
they
they
say?
cut
What do the aliens say here?
They're like,
They
the one
weird.
alien goes, "We should just strike them now."
right.
And the other one goes, "No, let's fucking get
Yungari.
Yungary. Let's get Yungari up and
Yungari.
running, dude." And he's like,
Right. Don't forget about the plan, dude. Yeah.
Right.
So they don't forget about the plan.
I guess.
They're like, okay,
All right.
you're right.
We should do
use
something now. No, don't.
Right.
Okay.
those. Yeah. Right.
I think this is
Yeah.
when Dr. Hughes shows up
Oh,
to be like,
after
"You
that,
gotta stop the dig."
Stop the
And
excavation.
they reveal it's been 2 years. We
Yeah,
didn't know
that's-
that right
yeah.
till right now.
Until
That's
right
when
then.
they
that it's
reveal
been
it's been
2 years since the cave shit.
Since they discovered the
Christ.
cave.
So they've been
yeah.
digging this thing up for 2 years.
That's how big it is. That's
Yes.
how long it's taken. So
Right.
yeah, he like approaches
He shows
Holly.
up and they're like, "We all thought you were dead." And he's like, "No, I wasn't. Stop doing what you're doing."
Right. And then Professor Campbell is like, "You're out of your mind."
I've,
You don't know
I've
what you're
translated all the hieroglyphs. I
Professor
know what's
Campbell-
coming.
Yeah.
Professor Campbell does this thing where it's almost like Shakespearean, but it's like psychopathic when he does it.
Yes.
He stares at something else while he talks to someone just so he can look at them and say the
He
last
does
phrase.
it to Holly twice.
Dude, it's so
it's ignorant
unsettling,
and mean.
but,
It's like
it's also framed wrong in some of the shots where you're like, dude, what is he looking? I just look at the back of his fucking head for what reason? It's awesome.
yeah, it's great.
Right.
This guy fucking
but it looks
is
like he's
overacting
intentionally-
like a champ. It's
Oh.
so good.
It looks like he's
God.
intentionally disrespecting them. Like he's like, I'll finish talking, but I don't need to acknowledge your hearing
That you
me.
are here. Yeah.
I'm in the clouds, and you are under the dirt.
Right. Well, honestly, I think Professor Campbell feels like a fucking god at this point. He's like, look at this.
Which
thing
is
I've
odd because
discovered.
at this point he just thinks he's digging. He says
thinks he's finding
he says in this scene actually it's about the fortune and the glory.
Mhm.
It's Temple of Doom. He does. He thinks it's about the fortune and glory. It's not. He doesn't think there's anything supernatural or alien shit going on.
Right. It's just
He's
like
just
an
digging up
old ass
a giant
fossil.
fossil.
dinosaur, yeah.
Yeah.
He is willing to murder people just so he can be famous as a paleontologist.
Jesus.
He's not trying to become a god. This guy's willing to he would kill everyone around him.
Right. He just wants to be a
To
good
just be a
paleontologist.
famous paleontologist. It's awesome.
Well, he doesn't do that yet.
Oh, he doesn't?
Right, right.
No,
Okay.
because when
Well-
Hughes shows up, they get into an argument, and he's like, "Get out of here, you stupid old man!" And there's that huge guy who looks like Steeljaw or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That grabs
from
him.
James Bond,
takes
that,
him
like
out.
drags him out.
Yeah.
And then Holly's just like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, people are dead now. This guy who's not dead shows up.
Who's been presumed
Right.
dead,
Yeah,
right.
for 2 years shows up. This is getting weird." And then that's when it goes back to the aliens, and they're like, they do something. It shows the ship, and it like blasts.
It glows for a second.
Yeah, it like blasts
Young Gary.
or
Yeah,
Young
yeah.
Gary's corpse, and
Uh-huh.
like some of the bones start growing, like his rib cage grows back.
And
And
his
then
teeth,
some
his
dude-
teeth
The
come
tooth goes
from
right through his
underground.
jaw and goes through a dude.
Yeah, that
goes
just
right
happens
through
to be
that guy's
standing there.
torso, man.
They
Right.
didn't show it, but the hole would be like
I-
almost the size
I
of
was
his torso.
be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish they showed it so
I
bad. I
know.
was waiting for it. I was like, please, Lord, show it. That,
Like-
where
And it
that
goes-
tooth went through his torso.
It goes to
It's gotta look
it goes to the
crazy.
jawbone so quick. The guy doesn't move. It goes
Right.
through him
Yeah.
like
Right,
a
right,
bullet.
right.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
like moving.
Into his jaw. Yeah, into the young
Like
Gary's jaw.
inertia didn't have time to take effect on his body. That's how fast it was.
It's great.
No. Yeah,
I wish
right,
they
right.
showed it to you. That would have fucking made it too gory, though.
That
Right,
would've,
that would
yeah.
have been too much.
It's a
That would've
different
been
movie.
too much. But
So it's the next morning when
And that's when no. At night,
right.
it cuts to that dude's dead body. Like, no. Something, it goes
they
to
wake him
something
up in the
else.
morning, I thought.
No, it shows the.
Well, there's a guy that comes to Campbell. He's like, "There's been another death."
Right.
No.
Right?
This is where the cameraman is taking a picture of the guy who got the tooth went through the.
Oh yeah,
Went
and then
through
Campbell,
because that's where we were like, man, are they going to show it? But they didn't. And then Campbell shows up, does the camera film
Filming
and he
again.
steps on it.
Yeah.
Says the same thing again, where he's like, I don't think that's going to benefit.
It's literally
either one
a
of
repeat
us.
of the
Right,
same
right.
words.
Idiot.
Same scene.
Then he gives the speech about how he's like, what are we doing this for? And he's like, for fame. He's like,
Yeah.
fame doesn't, because there was that
Fame
stupid ass
doesn't mean
line.
money.
Like
where,
fame doesn't pay.
Fame doesn't make,
yes,
make you
it
money. And he's
does.
like, what are you, an idiot? Yes. That's what it's for.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Aren't
Right.
you paparazzi?
And so
Like, you know what I mean? The guy that
exactly.
said that his job is like making people. It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
But yeah, then they dispose of that body with
Yeah,
the tooth
together.
through him. Right. And then wake up the next morning and Holly's like, something, or someone is like, something's happened with the.
Yeah, one of the foreman comes up and he's like, there's another problem with, he goes,
He says it's growing teeth.
it's something happened with the body. It's like growing back together. They're
Right.
moving like magic.
And,
And
we
he's
found
like-
another body.
And we found another body. He goes, no, that's impossible. We disposed. I mean, never mind.
Yes, he
Excuse
says
me.
we disposed.
We
Oh,
disposed of
excuse
a
me.
body.
He
Never
just
mind.
woken up, you know?
Right.
You caught him off guard.
He was tired from disposing of bodies
Yeah.
the night before.
I
right.
mean, that's a lot of digging.
It is a lot, 6 feet.
kinda-
I mean, if you're generous, you
Right.
could do 3 feet.
I apologize for the reference, but it kind of reminded me of Ghost in the Darkness. Those people keep dying, and they keep having to be like, "No, workers,
We're-
building.
Shit happens. Shit happens.
It's not us." Yeah.
Shit happens.
Anyway, yeah, it was pretty great.
People eat my lines.
It doesn't. Holly doesn't physically leave the dig site. She just is gone in like a scene, right? And
He fires her.
does he
But
fire her?
No,
but it's
yeah,
not on screen at all.
It's not on.
Right.
No, I'm saying it's
Exposition.
off screen that
Right.
she's just has quit.
Right. Well, yeah, he's like, if you don't want this, then leave.
Right.
And then the next thing we see is that she left.
She left. Right.
So yeah,
Right. But is that the next thing we see?
I think so.
Is
yeah.
her driving away and then
It doesn't
The
show
whole-
driving
the
away.
It
hotel
doesn't. It just
thing.
show her going to the hotel.
going to a
Yeah.
hotel? We have no
Yeah.
clue what the vicinity of that to the dig site
Yeah,
is.
I was
at all.
honestly like, oh, maybe she's like just going to get food. I wasn't sure what she was doing, but it was a hotel.
No, she's going to a hotel.
That's
and,
when
then,
she
and we see
explains
somebody
that she quit.
following her.
That she's in the mid phone call of being like, "Hey,
With her mom, I
yeah, I
think. Oh,
totally
no.
quit that crazy
Yeah.
dinosaur dig. And if you want to give me that job that's apparently just floating in air waiting for me, that'd be great. Is that cool? All right, I'll
Cool.
talk to you later." But like, it was the nuts. It was just
Right.
like she was fine. She could have
God
just
damn
walked
it.
away from all of this.
It didn't even matter. She already had opportunity available to her.
But the old responsible
instead-
old man
Well,
brought her back.
first-
Yeah, I know.
Well, first she looks out the
goes to a-
window.
she
She
looks
looks out the window when
It
she's on the
does
phone.
It
'cause
does
she's-
show
him in the
Dr.
window.
Hughes like creeping up on her,
and
in
he's out the window, and then she
Right.
like,
She
what?
looks, but she's
What?
not there.
Yeah, and then someone knocks on the door,
But-
and then
Here's your towels. Your
it's
blankets.
a guy with blankets, and she was like, "All right."
There's a guy who looks like he works on a masonry site. Is like,
Right,
here's
right,
your blanket.
Dude, that guy
And
just
then
finished
she's like,
cutting
work
a
at the
2x4.
hotel?
Yeah, I was like, I don't think you're like.
You look like a teamster, dude.
Yeah. Why are you giving her
Delivering
blankets?
blankets.
And then she's like, "We're gonna go to get like some food around here," and then she goes to the
I
bar.
love that you're making her like sex.
Oh
We're gonna
my
go to get some food around here. I'm so
Holly's just doing
hungry.
her
She's
best.
dressed
She's
pretty
just in-
fucking over conservatively,
in a flannel and a vest
ultra-conservatively.
and like jeans.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
even in the hotel, she's wearing that like that vest with those like
Yeah. So then
That's
we
crazy.
cut to the bar, and it's the bartender talking
Oh
to
my
some
God.
guy.
with a beer in his hand, and she
Right.
goes, "Hey, what happened to you and whatever?" And he's like,
I don't want to
Oh,
talk
talk
about
about
it.
God damn it!
I heard she's up there shacking up with something. He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
And he walks away.
We don't ever see his face.
Yeah, never.
Yeah. And she,
Then Holly sits down.
Oh my god, this is my favorite part.
And she's like, "What do
This
you
is my
want,
favorite
honey?"
part.
And she's like, "Hot coffee and a chicken sandwich
At a bar.
at a bar."
She
In
just goes to
next time I go to a bar, I
2001.
am ordering a hot coffee
and a chicken sandwich, and just seeing what the bartender does.
No, and
like,
I wish that
there are some
she-
bars that serve food, but I mean, even still,
Yeah.
you got to look at the menu. She didn't even look at the menu.
No,
she didn't
just-
ask for anything.
The
hot
best
coffee.
and
But then-
the best
yeah.
and worst part is that she instantly just takes a cup and puts it in front of her, and it looked like that
it was supposed to be full of
That was
coffee,
coffee.
and we were like, "Whoa, what?"
And then she fills it up with hot
Yeah,
coffee.
then she
It
pours
wasn't
coffee.
as funny
No
as it
chicken
should have.
sandwich.
She
No
asked her a
chicken sandwich.
question about something, right? Or I guess she asked.
Because she's heard of the dig site. The bartender
Yeah.
like kind of knew stuff that was going on, but she was a gossip. She was a
Oh,
town
Yeah,
that's
gossip.
what it
she
was.
wanted
She was like, she said something about like getting hit on or like getting laid or something, right?
There was
Because they
something
said
about
something-
guy. Yeah.
she said something like, "Well, around here it's hard to land a man." or
Man,
whatever.
right.
Right.
And she was like, "Well, I just came from a bunch of bone.
I so
digging,
thought-
like,
Bone digging
troglodytes or
males.
whatever.
Yeah.
I so thought the bartender was gonna be like, "Well, I'm sure that dig site has plenty of like."
More like a dick site.
Yeah,
I was
What? What's
real-
up?
I was
Free
waiting-
shots. What?
I was waiting for some kind of something, like some sexual innuendo
Sounds
to
like
happen.
you hit the
It was
jackpot.
like bone digging males.
Bunch of
and I was
burly
like,
men that know how to move
Right.
land.
I just like I don't know.
What the?
Whoever wrote Holly's part, I'm just like, okay, go
Whatever.
ahead.
So she gets her coffee, and then Hughes shows up. And the casualty, and she's so casual about it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, I didn't expect to see
You
you
here.
here.
He looks like a crazy homeless man.
He's out.
He's
He looks
very
like
dusty
Gandalf
and
warning.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it secret? Is it insane?
Yes, dude.
You know, I mean, he looks insane. Like,
No one
run!
should be, no one should be talking to this man.
Oh my god, I would not talk to
And
him.
she's
Yeah.
just like, well, you want to talk, I guess. And they sit by a table, and he's like, look, I got to tell you some shit.
They also leave the bar, and there's no mention of the chicken sandwich.
Or
They leave.
No
they
chicken
go to sit
sandwich
down,
was
and there's
fine.
no
Pay for
mention
it
of it or
she
anything.
ordered it, and she didn't fucking get it.
Also, the
so-
bartender didn't like put an order in though.
Yeah, she
there was
was
no
like-
hey Jimmy, put in one chicken.
You got it,
One
man.
chicken on rye.
None of that.
There was none of that. It was just,
It
here's
was
your
like-
coffee. I will do nothing else.
We're gonna ignore
Probably
that
should
you
have just
said
never
chicken.
brought up that chicken sandwich, by the way.
Because you will not. You
never
will
gonna
not
see
be getting it ever.
It makes the scene weirder. Why add it if she doesn't ever get the goddamn sandwich?
Why even say chicken sandwich? I know.
There's so much more insane shit that happens in this movie.
I know.
And we're dwelling on her ordering
Yeah.
a chicken sandwich.
But it's fucking
It's
nuts.
it's great.
It's a
I love
weird
it.
detail.
I love that detail.
Yeah.
It's so important.
And because it's discarded completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not
Just
even
so,
like,
I guess
because
it
he
adds-
asks her, he tells her what's up. He says like, for 2 years I've been studying these hieroglyphics.
Yeah,
It's-
I was
it's
so
a coming storm.
classified.
And she's like, well, show them to me. He's like, not here. And then they
gotta
leave
go
the
somewhere
bar,
more
but there's not like
secret.
her going, you know what? Cancel that chicken sandwich. There's none of that. There's
God damn it, I wish that happened.
Or
Yeah,
the
it
bartender
wasn't-
be like, "You want your chicken sandwich
It's
to
to
go?"
go.
Or
Like,
no,
anything
they
and
walk
nothing.
out and then like the waitress is like, well, I thought she wanted a chicken sandwich.
Dude, who the fuck
Wah.
Wah.
Who the fuck orders a chicken sandwich and then walks out on it? Well, she like went
Whackity
nuts.
It's so
schmackity-doo.
real. Absolutely.
Nonsense. That scene might be the best scene in the movie now that we're discussing it.
All right,
The chicken sandwich scene is pivotal.
And they walk out of the bar and look at the signs like bar, free chicken sandwiches. Like they added with CG, so it's like they wanted to.
Oh, man, just to justify it.
Just to justify it, yeah. All you can eat
I
chicken
know
sandwich.
you were worried about that chicken
It
sandwich
says,
part.
yeah, AUCE chicken sandwich. AYCE, sorry.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's
Oh my god.
pass the chicken sandwich part. They get that. They get.
The fact that there is a chicken sandwich part.
They go back
Okay.
to her hotel room.
Yes. And he's showing her code.
Stuff.
It's like
Stuff.
A tooth.
I love this. I actually love this scene because he's like showing her the hieroglyphs and he's like explaining what it means. He's like, this obviously means there's going to be some, young Gary is going to be raised, and then there's going to be some other light that comes. And you know,
Right.
she
You know,
get-
they don't get the other light parts of later.
right, they don't
He
get
only
that
Yeah,
there.
but they don't know
the
what that
thing about-
means.
They,
but
they don't know
know
what that means.
Yeah.
But
It's like
he lays it out, and then she
the
goes.
light from the sky will breathe new life
New
into
life.
young Gary.
He
or
lays
whatever.
it out, and the first thing she does is go, "Well, I don't believe you.
I'm a scientist.
I'm a scientist."
Prove
I
it.
need proof.
And it's
then
like
he goes,
this. How
Like,
much more
bitch,
proof?
he was in the fucking cave.
Right.
What do you want?
You
saw it.
saw the being. You
Yeah.
saw it. Oh well,
Well,
yeah, you're right. You're right. So you
that-
saw like
none
the
of
bones.
that comes up.
You
yet.
saw a bone
he saw
thing.
the
Right,
bone thing.
right.
But what was it? Fuck. What did he just say?
What? Well, she didn't believe him, and then he's like, "Well, what
That's
about
right.
this?"
Yeah, that's it.
And then he shows, what was it? Was it the thing?
It was like it was some sort of printout of like a DNA sequence.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
And
it was a DNA
but it didn't
thing.
say like she didn't go like, oh, this is from like a credible agency.
No, she just looked at it and she's like, well,
She goes, oh no,
Oh,
non-human,
DNA.
non-animal. Ooh.
250 million years
years
ago.
ago. Oh.
Right at a
Oh.
time.
We gotta stop this dinosaur. And she's like,
I love them calling
I
it a
gotta think about
dinosaur.
I gotta think about it.
I know.
And he leaves, and then she lays in the bed, pops right back up, and goes, Dr. Hughes!
Right, wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Okay,
right.
right.
Yeah.
And then they
Then it goes back to the dig site.
go back. Yep. Okay.
Right,
Right, right,
and
right.
Right.
he's looking at the dead
Ooh.
body they were talking about
Shit is
before,
building.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
Because now he's addressing this new dead body, because they're just fucking everywhere. I don't
There
even
are so
know
many dead
what.
bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
Right.
odd-
And he starts to like threaten all the workers and be like, I'll like get rid of you if you
Oh, wait a
don't.
minute.
I'll-
No, this is when that other scene happens, because I think the blast that reanimates Yongary is what electrifies those two guys. I think we
No,
jumped-
no,
No,
it's
that
not. No,
happened
it's not.
earlier.
Nope,
Did
Yeah.
that's not. That's not it.
Okay.
That is not
Yeah.
it. No,
Yeah.
no, she's right. They all see the new body, and he's like, I will. He basically, it's immigration. He's like,
Yeah.
he
Oh, yeah,
He's like, "You're
he
all
threatens
illegal."
immigration. Is like,
That's
yeah,
right.
you,
Yeah,
guys
I'll
are
get
right.
rid of
yeah,
you.
you guys
Yeah.
aren't legals, so you can't. You could leave the dig site, but I can also
I'll
alert the
report all of you.
authorities. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
And
And now I'm not going to pay you. I guess.
and
I
there's
know,
nothing
I
you
was
can
like,
do.
you just
Deportation.
told me you were gonna double my salary, and now that's not happening. I guess whatever.
Yeah, the
But-
worker-
I know a guy who never said anything. There's this dude who doesn't even speak English there, just being like, wait a minute, what's that? He doesn't
What?
even know what's
What?
happening. He went from
Right.
Yeah.
getting paid decently to paying
No.
greatly to now
like being
being
forced
forced
to
to work.
bury bodies. Is essentially
To bury
what they're there
bodies.
for. Right.
People he might have known.
Right. So
It's
what
fucked
happens
up.
after he like
It's
fucking
fucked.
threatens the workers?
Well, he threatens the workers, and that's at night, right? That was at night, right? Because it.
Well, no, they show up. No, you're right.
we
threatens
Do we jump
the
right
worker.
into like one like?
well, we see the aliens again, and they're talking, and this is when they're like a bit.
No. It shows
It's
the
not?
military.
Oh,
we get to the
we forgot
military
about the
base, right? I think the
military.
Oh, god damn! I forgot
Where
about
they're
the
just
military
like,
base.
How did you forget about Smitty?
Yeah, Smitty.
Smitty, he was doing his best.
It was the military base where they were going like, all right, we're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on in space. We found a spaceship.
in space.
We found this spaceship.
It's just sitting up there. It's fucking huge.
Right.
We're
And it's-
fucked. We don't know what it's doing.
Right.
And it blows up another satellite.
It
doesn't
does, yeah.
I think it blows up another satellite,
Mhm.
and they're just like, yes, it's fucked up there. Like,
Right. It's
we don't
trying
know
to
what
do
to do.
something.
And it's general
It's
being
there,
like,
so
Yeah.
we don't know how to attack them, but they haven't come down close enough for us to attack them, so we're not sure what to do.
Right.
it's just
So-
establishing
Yeah.
those guys, really.
yeah, it's establishing
right?
the
Yeah.
military.
That-
Then it
because
cuts
they-
back
yeah.
to the dig site.
to the dig site where the guy's like, we've uncovered it.
It's done.
It's
Dr.
done.
Campbell,
Now you may take a
You may
picture.
take a picture. And it
Dude.
looks almost identical to
It
what it was
looked-
before.
It was no more undug than the last time we fucking saw it.
Absolutely
I
not.
couldn't believe
It's
that.
just
Why
as
couldn't
fake.
you take pictures of parts of the bones?
Right,
It's
exactly.
a dig site. You take pictures of all
Yeah.
bones. Like,
Yeah.
what are you
Wouldn't it be
doing?
Right.
cool to have pictures of a lot of it being undug?
Right, and
Yes,
people like working
it-
on it. I didn't understand.
It doesn't
that.
matter. But
He's
that's
not
when Hughes
on
and
this
Holly show up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hughes and
And
Holly
they're-
show up.
and
And he's like,
Dr. Hughes goes, well,
It's
we're
too
fucked.
late.
It's over.
yeah.
we gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
It's
we
like-
shouldn't even have showed up. This is terrible.
And yeah, Holly's like, "What are we doing?" And he's like, "Get out of here, I guess." They don't
Yeah,
know
'cause
what
Campbell
to do.
almost
Well, it hasn't
disregards their-
started yet because
Right.
he's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is my masterpiece. Shut up. You're ruining
Right.
everything. Take the picture. I'm the best.
And then,
ooh,
this is when it gets
space
juicy.
blast.
It's reanimated. So fucking young Gary is like blasted from fucking space, and then from the alien
And he-
spacecraft, and it starts to grow skin and the flesh.
Yeah.
It gets
And
that big eyeball.
it becomes the eyeball comes onto
Eyeball
screen.
comes
Like
on the
in Godzilla.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
very
It's
reminiscent.
no
of-
longer just bones. It's a fucking
No, they
beast.
meet it up.
They
They grow meat on the
that
bones.
And it does not look like a reptile. Right?
No,
I mean,
you know what it-
barely.
it-
It looks weird.
It
man.
looks like a Chinese dragon
Yes.
face
It
with,
looks
with
like-
with like a
with
Godzilla
man
armored
body.
Godzilla body.
It looked like Reptar.
It looked a little like
it looked a little
Reptar.
bit like Reptar.
It looked more like a piece of a Voltron. Like its body was like weird. Its arms and legs.
Yeah.
was like a table that could move. You know what I mean? With
Yeah.
It's still
but
a-
it was so armored.
It's
it was
still
so tough.
generally Godzilla. It's not Godzilla, but it's generally a Godzilla
Its
Yeah.
type.
arms and
Type.
legs were the
He has
same
the
same
length,
body-
weren't they?
No. I mean,
I felt like his arms and his legs were like the same. Like he looked really.
he looked
weird.
like Godzilla if it was a little more gorilla-ish. How's that?
Yeah.
A gorilla and a little bit of a
Fair,
dog
fair.
snout, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But it was basically Godzilla. Young Gary is a
Right.
Godzilla ripoff,
Right.
which we knew going in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you knew that going in.
Yeah.
And so the dig site is in complete chaos.
Everybody's
Yeah.
wigging the fuck
Young
out.
Young
Shit
Gary
gets
steps on
blown
a bunch
up.
of the workers.
Mhm.
Yep.
And and then you got Campbell, who this is the first time
Oh my
he
God.
realizes anything.
Supernatural's going.
So I don't know what he thought was killing the men. Like really, up until this moment,
Yeah.
what did he assume
He-
was happening?
because he saw them get vaporized in a magic cave.
I guess
right.
that
So he knew that there was
something was
something
wrong.
happening, but he just
I guess
kept
that any-
labeling it.
he
as
does
No,
say-
but he knew that. Why wouldn't he be like, maybe Dr. Campbell
is right
is right now
Right.
as I'm watching this happen?
because he said they do put it on the line where he says, "I will do it at all costs. I will do what I'm you know
Right.
what I want to do, what I need to do. My mission
He's
will
a
happen."
Fucking idiot.
He's an idiot,
He's
but he's
an
there
idiot.
and he's like looking at the thing and he's like he's screaming at it.
Yeah,
He's like,
I-
you are my creation.
I can control it. I can speak to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it fucking
Steps
steps
on
on him.
And then at that moment, you're like, well, what movie is it now?
Yeah.
Because
I thought he was our guy. Yeah.
Yeah, like he was the guy, right?
Right.
He's the
Professor
driving
Campbell.
force.
Yep.
He's the bad guy.
Wrong.
Wrong.
And then I guess the cameraman also dies then?
He
It
dies-
shows him laying on his back, but he's not crushed. It's not like stuff's exploding. You know what I mean?
They went to the trouble.
It's just a big thing stepping on
They
shit.
go to the trouble of establishing that he's been put on this dig site by some friend who's trying to sabotage him. And then he sort of just disappears and dies off screen
Yeah.
without explanation.
That's
We never see Campbell again. He's dead.
Yeah.
And then we never see the photographer guy again.
right. They're done.
That's it.
So, okay.
It's now Young Gary and the Aliens, the movie.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
now we got
like-
to what the actual meat of it.
Right.
Yes,
like
right,
all of that
right.
was, you could have just almost cut to like the wake up scene and be like,
Right, something's
you
happening
could
at
have,
the
you could have a
dig.
newspaper that said like giant dinosaur bones found and then have aliens just shoot it. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Oh, fuck.
Right, I
Yeah.
understand it just as
The
well.
drama
yeah.
of the dig site seems like a completely different movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
Right.
was one of the cooler effects. The people getting blasted away was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Right,
no,
right.
that's. I'm just saying.
I know.
The movie takes such a drastic turn right here. It's just like, oh,
We are dealing with
it
a
is
real
not
monster
what we
here.
expected.
Ooh, but then the military come in, right?
Yeah, because they send that
Well, they're trying to track the spaceship, and they're like, it just blasted the Earth.
right
At
here.
this
They're like,
spot.
where?
Send
Yeah,
troops
44
here.
miles away from here, actually.
Ooh, it's
Isn't that
convenient.
convenient?
Yeah,
Cool.
So
Yeah.
they send
Well,
the troops
send
there,
helicopters.
and they send that. What is the name of that?
Oh no, they send Captain Fuckhead or whatever. I mean,
Who's kind of the
Captain
new main,
Giant
one of the
Teeth.
new main characters.
He's
Just, like,
giant. He's like 7
foot
feet tall.
tall,
He's a
man.
7 foot tall,
He's
like-
so tall. He's
huge.
taller than
his
the
mouth
trucks.
is gigantic too. Whenever
Yeah.
he smiles, it's all teeth. It's like crazy.
He's like
Right.
Tom Everett Scott's uncle or something. Is that?
He's so tall. He makes
So,
everybody
yeah.
look tiny as fuck. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Like
But,
he comes to the site with the military.
He gets
And-
sent. They're on the helicopter, and he's talking shit, right?
Right, they're all like, yeah.
Oh no, the general sends him away, and he does that horrible.
Oh yeah, because we
salute.
forgot to mention.
Oh.
After the attack, the spaceship beams down again. It hits Young Gary, and he disappears.
No, that doesn't
Right?
happen yet.
Well, yeah, it does. Right at the end of the attack.
Oh
it does.
yeah,
Wait,
because
you're
the
right.
military
Yeah.
gets
You're
there
right.
after he's
So we
disappeared.
established that the ship not only can wake him up, but it can turn him to nothing,
Right, the
and then
aliens
Yeah,
can.
vaporize it.
it was like,
made no
what?
sense.
Oh, because we thought it was invisibility, but it's not.
No, it's not
He
invisible.
disappears.
he just gets relocated.
right.
When
He's just,
they
like,
want him
floating
to.
around
Seems
the
like it's an
ether.
editing thing.
Right.
It seems like they did it. They did something in the editing
No, but they
room, and
just
they
kept showing the aliens pressing the deploy.
yeah, but the aliens, the audio could be redone.
Yeah.
The CG can be redone. All that can be redone. So they did something where they were trying to fix. They're like, well, what if the monster could be teleported? And it was
Right.
like, wait, if they could just teleport
weird
this
as fuck.
motherfucker.
There's a lot of
Right.
There's
The
a lot of things
logic
that I'm
doesn't
like,
make sense.
But this is also where it starts to feel like Power Rangers.
Yes.
Where it's
Yeah.
just like the being living in the moon, because the spaceship's always hanging out right next to the moon.
Right.
so large.
And it's so big.
It's like as big as the
As-
moon.
You're just like,
Crazy.
really? You can't see
Also,
it?
not that we need to talk about it, but I believe we either skipped it or it's close. Is when it has other ships come out of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
but
they're
already
But they
have
never
it.
get brought
They
up.
never get brought up, and
Yeah,
they're
they just come out
inconsequential.
of it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
never attack.
There was no like dog. There's no dog fight or. I thought there was gonna be like a dog
Me
fight.
too, with all the small
like,
things.
you
Yeah,
know,
all the small
Nothing.
spaceships.
They never come
Nope.
into play.
Nope.
It's not. We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
So young
Wait,
Gary
he disappears,
disappears.
but then the
And the military.
military goes
and
there.
they don't believe it. They're like,
Yes.
which is insane because
Dr. Hughes and Holly are like, yeah, fucking giant monster.
why would we
came
lie
out of
about
the
this? And
ground.
they're like, hey, Captain, you should see this. And they're like literally standing like 3 feet away from a young Gary footprint that is the size of a fucking school. It's like huge.
yeah, they're
Like, dude, did you not look to the left?
right. When
There's
you
gotta
first
be
stop
got
talking
here.
bullshit.
There's like gotta be these 4 or 5 of these fucking footprints they're standing around, right?
It's
Right.
smushed a lot of people.
Yeah, there's like flat humans in there.
Right.
Like you guys must have dug this before we got here. Like what?
I know.
What?
Right. And he was like, how do I explain this? And I was like, I don't know. Listen to the monster theory, maybe.
You're
Like,
right.
how do you.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But
right.
yeah, so they find the footprint
Like,
and
holy
then.
shit, that's crazy.
Do we go back to control, right?
I think young Gary reappears, right? When they're in the Jeep.
Yep.
Well, because
yeah,
one of the
the
military
like,
guy
all
is
right, all right. He
driving-
looks at the foot and then he goes, "Fucking you." He sends Hugh and Holly
Uh-huh.
in a Jeep with that guy with the Brooklyn
God,
accent.
what a-
Yes.
what a weird
I
scene.
honestly, he was one of the best actors in this whole film. I
Really?
really, yeah, I really thought he was.
alright.
Yeah.
Right, because like they're talking in the back, and she's asking him like, "Where have you been for 2 years?" He's like, "Well, I can't tell you because
Private.
we're not alone."
I can't trust
And then
this
the
guy.
guy
And
in
the
the
guy
front-
goes,
and it
"Oh,
was-
come on! I think you're insane. I don't tell anybody. Who gives a
Yeah.
fuck?"
Just so you
Right.
know, I'm not going to tell the government, even though I work for him.
Hey,
Like,
yo,
okay.
It's all
Whoa,
secret.
hey.
It's all secret. Hey.
And I love that instantly Andrea says that Dr. Hughes just starts
Oh.
talking.
Yeah, he's like,
Well, I was actually with the NSIA for 2 years. And
a
they,
secret agency.
A secret agency, right.
I found this fossil in those hieroglyphics, and they were classified. And then I became classified,
Classified.
Oh,
and
right.
I only recently became declassified.
Right.
Right. And now then they let me
And
go.
now I'm here.
right.
So they let him go.
She's like, "But why'd you stay there for so long?" He's like, "Because I needed to figure out all this shit,
Right.
right.
and I
Right.
needed their help to do it."
Yep.
Did they
Which is
did
weird.
they let him go like right before young Gary happened to be released without knowledge that was happening?
Yeah,
it
they
doesn't
just
matter.
were like, we don't know. Yeah.
So then
No, I think he knew of the prophecy, so I felt like he said he could feel it. Remember, he was like,
Oh,
"I can feel
right.
that it's coming."
yeah.
So that's why he was just like he broke out of there with what knowledge he
And stole
could
the
get. Yeah,
the CD.
he took that disc.
Oh right, the
He
disc
took the
with all
disc
the
that has more of the hieroglyphics.
Right,
on
right.
it to be
because
decoded.
he pulls it out and it's like a commercial. He's like, and if I can read this,
Yeah.
like a, you know,
Boop, boop, boop.
look, here's a CDR. Yeah,
Yes.
and that's when in front of the
Memorex
Jeep,
CDR.
In front of the
The
Jeep,
Jeep-
that they're driving in, young Gary
young Gary appears.
And then
and
the
the
Brooklyn
guy's like,
guy
"Holy
is like,
fuck.
I
You're
believe
right!
you now.
I believe you. That's crazy as shit."
yeah.
But then he
right.
also decides,
He's
I
like,
do not understand what happens.
he's like,
right
I'm
here."
not gonna stay here and die in a sardine can, and he jumps out of
He
the car.
action rolls out of it.
car.
So hold on. He goes, I'm gonna try to drive away from it. And Hughes is like, "Don't. What are you doing?"
He also
And he goes, "Well, I'm not just gonna fucking sit here." So that's when he action rolls out of the car.
And then
Because I
aims
don't know
at
why
him.
he wouldn't let him drive away though.
I don't know why either.
But then he
Dr.
action
Hughes.
rolls out of the car, draws a gun,
and then they
on
get out and they're
Gary.
like, "Don't you dare shoot him!" Because at this
Doesn't
point,
they say some dumb shit about it having
Motion. It detects
no, they
motion.
say the Jurassic Park line. He's like,
Yeah.
"It can't see if you can't move." Pretty much,
Right. Exactly.
It can't detect. It can only detect you if you're moving.
Right. But
Which
they're
is
all
something
still
the rest
moving.
of the movie doesn't really address.
No, not at all.
So yeah,
But it also when it's them staring at it first, it immediately cuts to the military people being like, "What the fuck?" Or no, he calls the people,
Uh-huh.
and they send helicopters. That's
Right.
when they're like, send helicopter report. They're saying there's a fucking monster there. We got to figure out what's going on.
Right.
because they don't believe him yet. The people
Yeah.
in the military base.
Right.
Right.
So that, but then when they get out of the car and he's pointing the gun, he's like, "Don't move, don't do anything." Then the helicopters show up and distract young Gary, and that's when they get in the car and drive away.
Okay.
And then the whole helicopter
fight
scene happens. Yeah,
Right. Where
helicopters move way faster than they ever can in real life.
Right.
And
They
then
move
Gary
like-
owns all of
They're
them.
moving around
so,
like
yeah.
gnats. They're just like
Yeah, and young Gary is impenetrable. Like he doesn't
Nothing
feel
works.
any the
He
largest
takes
missile
zero
they have.
damage.
Yeah.
He
They're
takes-
firing
No
missiles
damage.
or shooting.
This is
giant
this
machine
is the
guns.
desert fight we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the helicopters.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
just like breathe. He has a fire breath, but
Fireball.
it's more like a fire.
It's not a fire breath. It's a fire. It's a
It's a fire
fireball
cough.
missile.
It
fire
directs
missile.
He's like,
anywhere
"Ah!"
it wants to go. Like he knows exactly where it's
It's
going and he
goosh.
directs it exactly at that.
It's like a
spot.
spit fire.
Yeah, it's just terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
terrifying.
Absolutely. It's terrifying.
It's
That fire-
terrifying.
That Spitfire, I can't.
Yeah.
But then so that whole fight happens, people die.
He kills most. Well, I like during the
He
fight.
kills
he's like,
most of
something
them.
He's
happened?
killing all those things, but it cuts back to the military base, and the woman goes, "I think there's something wrong with my screen because I can't see most of the ships, and there's no way they're dead, right?
Right.
I mean, look how many of them are gone. And it's like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
They're
They're
you sent them into a giant monster, you idiot! Like, yes,
Exactly.
they're all dead.
And the
yeah,
helicopter-
they're gone.
The helicopters
It was awesome.
don't have some kind of video surveillance or anything.
Yeah, or
guess.
anyone else on an intercom.
I mean, I don't
want to.
Yeah, there's actually a monster
Without
here.
spoiling anything, you would think that some of the other technology that will be revealed later, they would have some type of video surveillance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't get video until the third appearance.
Right. That's right. But I'm just saying they're pretty technologically advanced because later we learned they have a. I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I
I'm
know,
just
I
saying
know.
is they don't have video surveillance. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
So then,
young Gary disappears again.
in the middle of the fight, and I think 2 or 3 helicopters survived, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a few do. Yeah.
They head back. The people in the military base are like, "What in the
Fuck
ever living
happened?
fuck is going on? It just keeps disappearing. This
Right.
is dog shit. What are we supposed to do? Nothing's working.
Right.
This sucks." And then when did the jets? That's when. God.
It's okay.
Man,
yeah.
it's rough at this point.
So it's a lot of the military based stuff right now.
Yes,
It's-
more of the tall guy does something. I mean, like Christ in heaven.
I don't know, yeah.
No, okay,
It
young
turns
Gary,
into, like,
young
not
Gary
a movie.
disappears. He's like taken away by the alien ship
Yeah.
and then reappears in the city of Los Angeles in the
Well,
middle
the
of
bay.
In the water.
In the
He
water.
reappears in the
That's
water,
right.
and this is the
There's
first
nothing
time
in between that, though.
I don't-
Okay.
there
all right.
is, I think, them preparing because they finally are woke to the fact that this is real.
Uh-huh.
They
No,
finally,
they still haven't.
well,
Because
they still
when it
haven't seen
appears
it
in the
because they
water,
appear in the water, and
that's
then
right. That's when it
they
goes.
finally get when he's in the water and
Oh
he's
no,
attacking.
that's what we're missing. It shows he teleports away, and then it's Hughes and Holly getting to
the military
the
base.
military base.
Oh, okay. Right,
Oh, no,
right.
but before that, it goes to the military base, and there's that guy Miles. There's this nerdy-looking guy
Right.
that shows up in a blue suit, and he's like, "I'm from the NCIS or whatever.
right.
He's
I'm
from
super
this-
secret. You've never heard of me, but
Yeah.
you got to do whatever I say."
He's from the
And-
place that Hughes mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
Right, where
Yeah.
he was
And he's
being
like,
kept.
Yeah.
"I'm here to help, kind of, take over this whole thing about this monster."
It was like, we've known this is gonna happen. He's like, you've known this is gonna happen for
Like,
how
what?
long? I was like, 6 months, I guess.
Yeah, and they were like,
Why didn't you do anything? It was like, well, it could have been 6 months or like a million years. We don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
It was all
Yeah.
need to know.
Yeah. It was
no one was going
and
to take
we
us
have such a high
seriously.
clearance level. The White House doesn't even know about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It was like,
What?
What?
So the
No,
president,
that's not a thing.
Technically speaking, Mills would be higher authority than the president.
Yeah, but then
Obama
everything
definitely
else
knows about
Yeah,
it.
right. Well, it would be GW, wouldn't it? If it was
The first?
or 2001.
2001.
99. No, it was made in 99 though. It was shot in 99.
So it was Clinton.
Yeah.
The president was Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, he
yeah.
definitely knew too.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
right.
fine. It's fine.
Right. They never. They talk to the president twice on the phone in this movie. They don't even let you hear it. They don't even
Yeah,
attempt
no,
a president.
No president
No.
voice
Yeah,
is
they don't
given.
attempt it.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, so Miles shows up, and he's like,
Yeah, we
I know
find
about this.
he's the secret government guy, and he pretty much knows everything Hughes knew,
right.
They're like, what
and
the
he knows
fuck?
it from Hughes.
But then Hughes
Right.
shows up, and they're like, "What are you?
What the
they
fuck
say-
are you doing?
Yeah, they're
here?
both like, "What are you doing here?"
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
then
There's
the
like that
general's like, why
standoff.
do you guys know each other?
Right.
Oh, that second general shows up, dude.
That's smoking a cigar the whole time.
Yeah, that guy. He's in like Die Hard.
Let's
and
just
shit.
say
It's crazy.
there's a lot of white dudes in a control room.
A lot
I
of
swear
And
to
we'll
God.
talk about things they say, but really the interplay doesn't matter.
Yeah, it has fully become a Godzilla movie. Now.
Yes.
It's people in a control room discussing
Stuff
what to
happening.
do about a thing that they can do nothing
Something about.
Right.
And
so
then,
then it shows up the third time. Oh,
Yeah.
no. I'm fucking this whole thing up.
You're not fucking it up. You're
No.
right.
No,
Oh,
you guys are right. It goes in the water.
It goes
they
in the
see it on
water.
the
Appears in the
video.
bay.
Then the
It
Miles
goes.
guy
Hold
is
on.
like,
It goes
yeah,
in the
we
water.
knew
It
about
attacks
it.
the bridge.
It attacks the bridge.
They
it cuts-
finally get, for the very first time, they get a video feed of it, and then
Uh-huh.
everyone in the control room is like,
Oh, when they
"Gas,
attack the bridge, it has that
gas,"
awesome
and that guy.
one frame of a guy going, "Oh!" like
On the-
looking
in the
up
car,
at it.
yeah.
It was so good.
Right.
He
Right.
was like the grandfather of the people on the bridge in X-Men
Yeah.
Last Stand. Right?
One of the best scenes
of
of
ever
cinema
movie.
history.
Yeah. So the first time they see it on video and they all go, you know, like, oh my
my
God,
God, fuck.
It's
we
real.
should have listened to Hughes and the guy. They're right.
And they're like, "What do you mean?" And then
Right.
what we just talked about. happens.
Right.
Right,
Everything we
right.
talked about
Then
happens.
Hughes comes in.
And they're like, well, they deploy the jet fighters.
Yes, that's when it's attacking the city. Dude, it is fucking that city up.
Oh,
It is.
The movie spends
destroying
no
it.
time like wasting. It's
At
not
all.
like
At
it's not
all.
like in Godzilla was like that
Walking.
scene of him entering the city is like forever.
Yeah.
This movie's like, oh, he's in the water. We know about him. He is already destroyed blocks of the
smashed-
city, man.
He smashed everything.
just
Absolutely.
No, it's
Come
amazing.
on,
When the
man.
camera is not on young Gary, he's moving like lightning speed.
He's
But then when it is on
everything.
him, he can barely walk.
He's not moving ever, man.
Yeah,
He's
it's-
almost never moving for the
yeah.
first half
Yeah.
of his time in the movie. It's
and it's
crazy.
like young Gary's a CG character, and the city is like a model, which I think
Yeah.
is really
Oh,
interesting.
I
It
think
looks
it's really. I
nuts.
think it looks really cool.
yeah, I think this movie would be actually kind of beloved if he was a man in a suit. If he was a puppet or
it
a
was
man in a
filmed
suit,
with people in suits, and then they CGI'd
they might have
over.
CGI'd over it.
Wow.
It was.
Yeah, I
filmed?
read that in the thing.
See,
in
they
the
shouldn't have done that
trivia,
because
yeah.
I think it could be like kind of a
But
beloved
it was like
Godzilla
but
type
there's
movie.
No footage
Yeah.
of that.
There's no
Like,
footage of that. Well, that's a
Right.
shame because the CG is
They
not
CG.
good. The CG is,
Yeah.
and I'm not one to criticize
It's
CG
bad.
effects ever, but it doesn't fit because like it's got all these model effects.
Right.
The helicopters being CG is fine, I guess, but
The helicopters and anything flying.
And the fine-
It's fine. yeah,
the
yeah.
planes were pretty good. I thought it looked almost kind of like anime-esque at points with the planes flying. It looked kind of cool,
Mm-hmm.
but like
they weren't at the point where they could do.
He looked pretty bad.
If you don't have the budget, they couldn't do flesh. The
Yeah.
flesh wasn't working out,
Right.
and it's fine. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. The movie's cheesy and it's fine.
Right. It's
Right.
Yeah.
So they sent out the fighters.
Jet fighters. Yeah.
And
and
they keep firing at him and they keep missing him. They blow up more buildings
Then
than
they
young
sh-
Gary punches.
all young Gary
Or-
does is
or
like
breathe fire
slightly
on him.
duck, and then
Oh my
he
God.
misses
Oh,
the,
there's so
the
many
missile.
shots of him just going. Huh?
Yeah, just to the right or left or down. And I'm
Right.
like, he's not walking. He's not like doing anything.
Shoot him
How
in
are
the
you
dick.
missing? How are you missing? Yes.
His legs
Shoot him
are
in his gut.
stationary.
Yeah.
Every shot. I hate that about these kind of movies. Every time they shoot at a monster, it's always the torso.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And it's like blast him in the head.
Head.
Like take out an eye or something. Like for fuck's
Listen to
sake.
Thanos,
Right.
man.
Yeah, I
You should
know.
aim for the head.
Right. Right.
Right. So this is the first attempt, and it's a complete failure.
Yeah, and
The-
he kills more jets.
he kills more
takes
jet
down
fighters than
jets.
lives.
Yeah.
And we established that he can he can't be hurt.
Yeah.
He cannot be hurt. Right.
Right.
So now we have because it's 3 attempts at taking him down with 3 different things, right?
Uh-huh.
Because at first it's the jet fighters, and they're like, oh shit, that didn't work. We go back to the control center, right?
No.
It's the
jet fighters
helicopters
are
and then the
happening.
jet fighters.
The jet fighters
are
are in the
happening.
city, and it's not going well.
It's only going very
and it goes
badly.
back to the general, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck else we
Oh,
have to
have
do
to do.
against this. And then the guy goes, and one of the
Oh,
other generals
right.
is like, hold on, what about your experimental
T4.
project?
Before that,
Oh.
hold on.
Are you sure?
Oh.
Before that,
Okay.
they go they say, well, they talk to the president because he's on the phone with the
clock
president.
starts, you're
He's
right.
on the phone with the president. He's like, I understand, sir. Yes, sir. And then we learn that, which is insane, because we just watched the city get butt fucked, like completely. And they're like, well, the president said if we don't take this thing down in the next 5 hours, he's gonna nuke this fucking thing, and it's like 5 hours. There's not gonna be a city
The
left.
city's
no,
gonna be
it's-
destroyed in 5 hours. If it keeps going, unless it literally lays down and goes to sleep,
Yeah,
this
I mean,
city is destroyed.
It's a long 5 hours. Why did they make it so long?
So long.
That's a long
So
clock.
long.
And there's a literal clock in the control room that starts ticking for 5 hours.
For 5 hours. I don't
5
know who
hours.
said it, but someone said a 5-hour time.
And
or-
then
yeah.
then we go to what you were
Okay.
saying, because they're like, okay, now what? They're like, well, what about the T-Force?
He goes, it's not
T-Force.
ready yet. The jetpacks.
The
And we were
jet-
just
Oh my
like,
God.
holy
Whoa!
shit.
the jetpacks haven't been cleared for safety, and I was
And
like,
they're like,
bring
I don't
out
care.
the jetpacks. I don't even care. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
a turn I was not expecting.
T-Force comes
T-Force.
out.
Well, first we get a shot of them like in the hangar.
helicopter.
Oh, it's been basically an
That's
hour.
okay.
It's okay. We're gonna get through this.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we're
that's
in
when
the, we're in
it's
the back of a hangar helicopter.
Yeah, the guy's so tall he can't even stand
And
up
oh,
inside
no,
of
yeah.
this
He's
thing.
so tall.
So he starts giving like a speech, like we're in this together, and we're gonna
You know
fight
what
till the end.
you know what your roles are.
And then one guy's like, "Sir, I can't do this."
I am too afraid.
He's like, "Well, what's your job?" And he's like, "Well, what was the
the
name of the gun?"
Hellraiser.
The hell. He's like, and he just says Hellraiser.
Hellraiser.
He's like, does anyone? That's great because it's the military. And he's like, well, does anyone else want to man the Hellraiser gun?
Right.
It's like that's not how the military works. You know,
Right.
the guy just quits, and you're like, okay, fine. Who wants to do this?
Right. And then one guy volunteers, and
Hey.
he's like, I know the logistics. I know how it works. I'll do it. And he was like, okay.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah,
Right.
take this
Whoever you are,
Hellraiser.
whatever.
Hey, the person we just met.
The man,
Here
you
Yeah.
guys kept referring to him as Hellblazer.
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser.
Yeah.
You're like, where is the Hellraiser?
What is he
like,
doing?
You guys were just talking about
They
the
made a
gun,
big
not even the
deal.
guy. It was like, where is the Hellraiser?
We
Because they
don't know
made a
the
big
guy.
deal with this gun. I
We
thought
don't-
the gun was gonna be like insane, you know?
Right, right.
It was
just,
big.
It was just like
It was really long.
It was slightly bigger than the other guns. It wasn't that big. Yeah.
Anyway, they all jump out of the plane. They're basically skydiving. Then all of a sudden they turn the jetpacks on.
Jetpacks!
And blue flames shoot out. And
Oh
then
my
they just start
gosh.
whizzing
and then
by.
this movie becomes perfect.
It's
It's
so good.
fucking people
Dude,
flying
the
around
moment
this
it
giant
becomes
shitty
perfect is when
monster.
they're hovering near Yongari, and they're all just like guys that are obviously on like wires.
And they're in like Peter Pan pose, where
Yeah.
like one leg is up and one leg
Oh.
is straight, and they're like got guns in their
They've
hands.
got machine guns. It's guys with jet. So the first thing was like fucking bombers. Like the first act they went against Yongari is fucking airplanes.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the second one is dudes in jetpacks.
Jetpacks
and
are like, this is
machine-
better.
with machine guns. Like that's less.
way less.
That's-
And they got a Hellraiser, man.
This
Yeah.
fucking thing is just ate a city.
So yeah, it doesn't work. Like young
Right.
Gary starts killing them.
He's like
Taking
eating them
them
out of the
down.
sky,
Yeah.
pretty much.
He,
But-
what is he blasts the captain out of the sky?
Yeah.
Right. The tall.
But he
ass
doesn't
dude.
kill him.
Right.
He,
just
like,
falls
He
to the
falls into a
ground.
tree and then lands, and his jetpack's
Oh,
broken.
you're right.
Yeah.
Cut back to.
Well, I was saying when the Hellraiser guy.
Oh, well, before the Hellraiser.
Okay.
guy-
Well, no, we
Something
cut
else
back
that
to the
happened.
thing because
Cut back- yeah.
Hughes
Hughes
and
and
Molly
Holly
are trying to
finished,
figure out how do we take this thing down. Where's the
Well, they
weakness?
finished like decoding
Decoding
the rest
the
of the
thing,
stuff.
right.
And they're like,
Hieroglyphics,
oh, there's
yeah.
gonna be another light that shows up in battles, and we're like, oh, we don't understand.
we don't know
There's going to be a
how that
second
works.
thing.
Yeah, no,
We
But no,
learned
what
that.
they decide there is that there's the diamond. The
She's
Well,
like-
diamond.
she finds
she's cold. Remember she was
Oh,
cold,
and
and
he
he took his
takes off-
It was
jacket
completely
off.
by chance. It wasn't by research that this
Uh-uh.
was discovered. It was
No,
by
by
chance.
chance.
Yeah.
He puts his jacket on her, and they're talking about like the bullshit.
And she's
then
like,
she
well, where'd
says-
you get
no, she says,
this?
What's this about? And he's like, oh, that's like something I found on the alien.
But just throw it
corpse
away.
in the
It's,
cave."
it's useless.
Yeah, whatever. I found it with the
But,
alien
yeah,
fossil.
we
It's
don't know
okay.
anything about it though. It's like whatever.
God
She's
damn
like,
it, Holly.
This is important.
Yeah, and Holly is like the daemon. It's a diamond, and
Oh,
this
that's
like,
right. We
thing
missed
is
the
a
scene with the
diamond.
alien saying we must go after the.
well,
no, the
But we don't know.
translation says Damon
The
in it,
daemon.
but we also saw a scene of the alien saying
Yeah,
we
right.
must go
After
The
the
daemon,
diamond.
right? We know that the daemon is a thing that's
Yeah, you
happening.
basically just covered the whole scene. Is them
Right.
saying
Well,
that.
I
Right,
know, I
but
just
she
wanted to
finds
get
out
it
that
in
this
there.
like diamond thing is important, the daemon, and it's actually the same shape as young Gary's head.
Yeah, because she's
Or
like, I
the
drew
little
a
thing
picture
in
of
The little
it.
thing in the
basically right
center.
above the center of his eyes. So
Yeah.
it's like,
She drew
yeah.
There's a
a
diamond
picture
there.
of what she thought it would look like with skin on it,
Right.
and included the shape
Yeah.
on
the
the
shape
skull.
of it. Right. She knew that that's
so
what
they
it was.
so they radio that to the main dude, and he tells the T4 squadron
Go for the diamond.
go for the diamonds in the center of his head.
And then that's
so
when
he
they
gets
start-
taken
that-
out.
yeah, that-
he loses
then
his
he gets
jetpack,
taken
and then
out.
Hellraiser is like,
the
"Well,
Hellraiser guy.
fuck this," and
he gets a bunch of really terrible
Awful lines.
Like,
Yeah.
'cause
Awful
they try to
lines.
Randy Quaid him, you know, like,
Yeah,
wait,
he's
we
like,
missed-
like, "Hello, boys, I'm back."
take that dino.
Right,
yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
But he says Dino.
Dino.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's wrong. It's
Totally.
not
All
cool.
of the word
Well, I
choices.
think he was making a Flintstones reference.
Eh.
Dino,
Okay.
the dog.
Oh, we also missed the
Okay.
line where the captain guy goes, "If this guy makes Godzilla look like a pussy."
Pussy. Yeah. When he comes down in his jetpack, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Well, at that point, the
Whoa.
movie was just. I was like,
We
okay,
were
well, the
losing
movie
it.
knows
Yeah,
exactly what it's doing.
When the T-Force came out, I was like, woo,
It's so
we are
good.
here.
I mean, it's
We're
so
here.
Korean, like flying around like people fighting this thing.
It's like a foreign movie made with white guys.
It's awesome.
It's like
It's
like
really
the
fun to
cast does
watch.
not reflect the movie at all.
It's a bunch of terrible like Western actors in this kind of like wacky action adventure
Yes.
sci-fi movie.
Right.
and it
It's
only
fucking
works
awesome.
because it's not like a kung fu movie or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It only
That-
can work because it's not
It's just a bunch of white
Yeah.
people in a room talking.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
It's like Power Rangers.
It's like Power
It
Rangers.
could have been
yeah.
anybody. Like we can make our own version of this movie where it's just us doing.
Already
shit.
did.
we-
Holy fuck! Let's do that right now. The three of us can make our own version of this movie
With our cell
and
phones.
just splice in all the fucking Yongari shit. And it's just us in a room being like, "What do you want to do?" I guess we should just let them do whatever
Yeah,
the fuck they want
want.
because we're inconsequential to this whole fucking thing.
Right. So he tells the squad, and then the Hellraiser guy says a bunch of terrible catchphrases, and he aims the Hellraiser at the diamond and starts flying straight at young
towards
Gary's
it.
head.
No.
But then he throws the Hellraiser
yes.
He throws
down.
the Hellraiser down
And he
just,
fucking just
No,
commits.
because he's shooting it, but then it starts to dematerialize again.
oh right,
The aliens are gonna
yes.
send it back, and he's like, "Nah, dude, fuck that." And he throws the Hellraiser down, pulls out some little thing to go faster, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah,
and
yeah.
was like,
He like turbos himself right into young Gary's diamond part.
"Does he
Yeah.
die?" We don't
Yes,
see.
yes,
him,
yeah,
he
we
dead.
don't see
He's
it.
dead.
He has to
He
die.
He
basically
headbutted young Gary into being,
and he disconnected him from the aliens.
yeah,
Yes,
the aliens
right.
now
The
don't
aliens-
control.
So
young Gary.
then behind
It's
Yongari
realized.
there's a whole building
Well,
that's
hold on.
about to,
It like smacks him in the head, and they're all like, everybody.
it's like
It just stops. Everybody
Right.
stops.
Right.
It's like, hold up, because
Right,
he's not
right.
doing anything. He's just standing there. Like,
Right.
wait for it. Wait for
For it.
This might be okay.
and they're like they
And
really
then
quickly
another jet shows up and
Right.
just starts shooting rockets at him, and
it hits a building.
he ducks them. It hits a building, and he saves it.
He built. Yeah.
he pushes
keeps
the building back
from
up, and he's
falling.
like, he saved all those people. And
Yeah.
and the controller is like, well, he's on our side, I guess.
Right, they
And
immediately
it
were like,
completely changed. Like
He's good. We got him now.
he's not
We
under
got
their
him.
control
Who sent
anymore.
those jets?
I don't
Where
know.
the fuck did
Where
they
they
come
come
from?
I-
I thought they were going to be the nuke jets,
No,
but
Right.
they weren't. They
No.
were
Dude,
just
we still
some
got like
other-
3
I
hours
know,
left on
man.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
I
Yeah,
have no
nonsense.
idea
It's
who this
So
complete
then they're like,
nonsense.
"Oh, he's our friend. This is
Do
sick.
not. Yeah. Do not shoot him.
Don't-
do
don't
not
do
shoot
it.
him.
Never
That's
yeah.
when
It's like,
he
whoa.
like he doesn't he like
They have that
collapse
long
right
scene-
then.
No, they have that long scene of everybody just looking at him while he's standing in the street.
Right.
And then it goes to the aliens,
And they're
I'm
like,
"Oof,
We've
we
lost
fucked
we've
up.
lost connection to young
We
Gary.
have fucked
Release
up."
what was it?
They were like, "Release Psychlor."
Psychlor. Yeah.
You're like, wait,
You
what?
you have another one of these things?
He shoot the Earth with another blast, and then some tunnel shows up, and a giant scorpion.
Well, no,
crab.
it Bugs Bunny digs around
Yes.
like the
Yeah, it's
underneath the like street.
City.
the city.
Yeah.
It comes
and
out
young
and
Gary's like, "What is going on? I'm a happy giant thing
I'm your
now."
friend. I'm not controlled by the aliens. And then Psychor shows up looking like an Alf cockroach scorpion
It's nuts.
being.
yeah, it's
Super
it's
weird.
super weird. The design of
Super.
Psychlor is out there.
Yeah, I do not. That
Right.
was hodgepodge.
Oh,
but
Right,
but the
right.
blast of Psychor landing, like, hits.
It hits
It
young
hits
Gary,
young Gary
and
and
he
like tosses him. That's when he's lying on the ground.
and he's like knocked out from
And a
it.
jet flies over and is like, "Target is down, target is down." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh," and
And
everybody
then-
sort of
all's
celebrates.
fine, right?
and then
But
Psychlor
then
comes out of the
Psychlor shows
ground,
up,
and
And
yeah,
they start fighting.
Right.
Psychlor can shoot
Psychor.
Psychlor
Yeah.
can shoot beams out of his tail.
Yeah, he's got like a tri-prong.
He's
So
got
then-
a lot of powers.
He's
Yeah,
got a lot of
yeah,
powers. Then
yeah.
Yungari shoots one of his arms off with his blast.
With his fire.
And then out of the
Well,
hole.
hold on. It's like he's kicking his ass, and then the captain guy on the ground is like,
Oh, right.
he's our friend now, you
Yeah.
bastard! And starts
Take someone
shooting the
your
gun,
own size. And it's
which
like...
is not me because I'm tiny, but here we go.
It's great. He's filmed so separately from everything.
Right,
It's so
I know.
He
good.
shoots at the giant thing, it distracts him while Yungari gets back up and then fire blasts
Fire
His
Right.
arm off, and
Yeah.
then out of the armhole
yeah.
comes a bunch of tentacles.
that are
Weird.
fucking electric.
Yeah,
And
they
wrap
have a-
around
like,
Yungari
they
and
wrap around
fucking
Yungari and electrocute him. It's like, what?
So this is like
It's
this is
awesome.
like that
yeah,
like
it's great.
that like what is that? That dog or that being that
From
like
the thing.
that you when you cut its head off it grows more in its place.
A Hydra?
Hydra.
Yeah, Hydra.
Hydra.
And it's like that but with electric tentacles.
Right.
Yeah, you cut my arm and now I got 3
Well,
of them.
it's great.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
isn't
they're
this
like-
isn't this
right.
when Yungari grabs it? No, that's
not
later.
how.
That's
Because
later.
Yungari's superpower, he has, all right, these are Yungari's powers, aside from just being a giant monster.
Uh-huh.
Fire breath,
Right.
and he like assimilates, he's like the Taskmaster, basically.
Right. Yeah.
If you attack him, he gets hit once, and then he's like, well, that's never
I
happened.
know
Right,
how
yeah,
you
yeah.
work now.
So he gets hit with these tentacles, they electrocute him.
yeah. Like
He-
Deathstroke, kind of. Like he
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
everything you're
yes,
gonna do
yes.
next. So
right, he already
yeah.
saw it.
Yeah. He
So then-
anticipates it.
They're fighting more, he blasts the thing's head off, and everybody's like, this is great.
Or Eric
Everything is
Roberts
great.
from Dead or Alive.
Shut up. Shut up. You know,
Okay.
I finally watched that. That is garbage.
It's amazing, dude.
But
Yeah.
anyway, he blasts his head
Head
off.
off.
Everybody's just like, Boner City, it's over. This is great.
We got this.
Wrong.
Wrong
But-
tentacles coming out of the
More
neck.
tentacles.
Cut of the neck hole. Like all of his holes just
It doesn't
grow
need to
tentacles.
see.
It
Absolutely
doesn't
not.
need to see.
What
It doesn't. It's
is
just
this
like
Psychor is the
thing?
fucking shit,
Yeah.
man.
Why the fuck did the aliens even fuck around with Yungari, man? I'm
Why?
telling you, it's insane.
I-
They got this thing that's just gonna eventually turn into like a
A-
Katamari of like tentacles. Just use that.
Then
I
why
have-
did they go through all the trouble of
I
young
have
Gary?
To
no
use a thing
idea.
that may or may not work. They had a thing that is a fucking lock. It's a demon. It's just this monster. Good lord.
They could have, and they don't even have like a diamond control thing over Psychor. He's just,
No,
he's just
Psychor
controlled.
just exists that way.
Yeah, he just is that way.
Right.
So they literally
It's
woke up
unreal.
their own undoing. They literally made their own undoing
Right.
by having young Gary.
Right. When they had
They could
Psychor
have at
the
least
whole
released
time.
Psychor first and then bring young Gary in when everyone's already like, what the fuck?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they didn't.
Dude, it's
Their battle plan
unbelievable.
is garbage.
really bad.
Such
They should
shit.
just start
It's
with
shit.
Cyclone.
So,
Shit.
or
so he
Psychor.
shoots the tentacles out of his neck.
But this time,
But this
he
time, young
dodges
Gary,
it.
he missed it. He
I-
grabs them and
Bites
bites
them
them
in
like an
half.
umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Right.
He does. And then he fucking fire breathes again into,
Put into the neck.
Into the neck hole. And
Into the neck hole.
Psychor just explodes.
implodes. Yeah.
But then he also collapses.
He collapses from like the shock, like the
The
exhaustion.
I mean, he got his ass whipped.
Yeah,
for
he might
most
be
of that.
Yeah, he
exhausted.
did get his ass beat.
They're
for a
really
lot of that.
tired.
He just
Yeah,
he
yeah.
only absorbed the ability to dodge normal, like super attacks. Like the thing
Yeah.
was still like throwing him around.
Mhm.
He wasn't winning the fight for most of the time.
If only we could get young Gary in like a Godzilla movie.
I love
Just
it.
bring him in.
He's
Ah,
so cute.
he's so cute. He's nice.
so nice. He's really helpful.
When did Destroy All Monsters come out? Not Destroy All Monsters. The one Final Wars. What year did that come
I think it was after this.
It was after this.
That
It
was a
should've
movie
been in
where
there.
the Japanese Godzilla fought all of his old foes, including the American Godzilla.
Yeah. Which he destroyed promptly.
Oh yeah,
Oh, good.
Very quickly.
he beat it in like 15 seconds.
It was
Oh my
awesome.
It
God.
happened so quick. Anyway, so they're all happy. They're cheering.
Right.
Don't they arrest the
Psycho's
Mills
gone.
guy?
No. They're all happy for a second, but then they're like, "Oh, the nuke's still coming. The clock is still
The
running.
clock's
We gotta
still
turn it down.
running.
All right, well, let's just shut it down because it's.
I thought this was gonna
now.
be. I thought it was
Don't
gonna
worry
be
about
such
it.
a climactic thing, and then
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, no, but
'Cause
he
it-
goes to do it, and that's when like Mills starts backing out of the room.
and he's like, "Hey, that thing needs to be destroyed." And they're like,
And
"Why?
they're
It's
no,
not
we're
bad."
blowing
It's
it
like,
up. It's good.
"Give me the
Fuck
code
you.
to get out of
The
this
other one's
room.
dead, and it's fine.
I need the
Right.
code to get out of this room." They're like,
Well, no, he doesn't say anything. He backs away and pulls something out, and that's when they're like, "All right, I'm going to tell you the
"Right."
abort code, blah blah blah." And he's like,
Right.
"Why isn't this working?" And the guy's like, "Dude, nothing works right
Right,
now."
because he was like,
Yeah, they're like,
was
Smitty,
keeping-
figure it out. And he's
He-
like, well, let me turn this thing on.
He was blocking all signal. He was
Right,
blocking
Mills
all
was,
signal.
Signals coming from inside the room.
And without the signal, they couldn't call the bomber to tell them not to nuke the city.
Yongar.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was still full of people, which is fucking unfathomable.
Unfathomable,
Yeah.
right.
Why the fuck? Because it shows the cop with a whole bunch of like pedestrians. And you're like,
How
why
are
is
you still
anyone
there?
Dude, run.
Yeah, fight's been going on for like
An
half
hour.
an
For
hour.
five
at least.
hours.
For 5 hours.
Well, like 3.
Yeah,
Like
what
3
either way.
hours.
Dude,
Yeah.
leave the city.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just run on foot and you'll get out of there quicker.
In 3 hours, yeah.
Run
Yeah.
to the sea. Just run to the sea. I just don't understand.
So Mills is blocking the signal from the control room.
And they figure it out, and he's like, "No, just give me the code, or I'll smash this on the ground. And you'll never get your computers back
Right.
on." And then they give him the code eventually, but when they open the door, the Brooklyn
the
guy,
Brooklyn
guy's there.
guy is
And he
there.
just-
And he's like,
he smacks
He
it out of
knocks
his
him
hand
out.
and punches him. Boom, boom. And he's just like, "Hey,
"Did you need that?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, we're fine.
So they get it
Smitty-
back, and
Smitty's
he's like
good.
on the thing. He's like, "No, abort, abort, abort."
Alpha, Delta,
And
Omega.
it seems like it's gonna come really close and be a huge deal, but then they're just like,
Oh,
"Ah, they did! It
Oh,
Oh,
aborted."
it worked.
They aborted.
He's like,
It's
hey,
fine.
it's been aborted. Yeah, it's
been
totally
aborted.
fine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I guess that's it.
And then it's
Yeah.
right. It's the shot of the helicopters all
lifting
young
off
Gary.
the ground.
They're like, "Where are you taking him?" To an island where he can
a large
learn how to
deserted island.
be a part of the 21st century.
Yeah, he hasn't
I mean,
seen it after
For
200 million years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Also, we might need his help.
They like no, because that's part
Right?
of it is the aliens and like the scene
Oh, the
prior to
aliens-
Oh,
that.
the aliens realize
they're
they
like,
lost.
We lost. We need to get away, but we'll come back.
No, but he said they do the alien. It set it up for a sequel so hard.
So
The alien
hard.
goes, he's like, "What are we gonna do?" He's like, "Well, we got to get out of here before young Gary realizes his full potential and destroys us." And he's like, "But we lost." And he's like, "Not yet. We'll be back. He'll lose next time." And then they like
Yes.
teleport out of there.
Exactly.
It's such an anime ending.
such
just
an
Oh my
anime.
god, I
It's so
love that.
cool.
I really
Yeah.
am ready for a
Yeah.
sequel with
So,
it. Yeah.
there might be. We
I
didn't
wanna
really look
see
that
Yeah,
up.
the woman with the radar goes, "They just blasted away at the speed of light," and they're
Yeah.
like,
And they're like,
"Yeah,
take that.
it."
You're scared of us. And they're like,
I mean, honestly, they probably
don't
won't come
know.
back for millions of years.
Yeah,
so
it'll
it's
be a
like,
while.
yeah, don't worry about it.
yeah, their understanding of time.
You'll be
is
dead
much
by the time
different.
those aliens come back. It's
Right.
fine.
No, that's the
Right.
next movie. They come back with a new monster. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just Godzilla. They
It's
were trying to set
Godzilla.
up a-
It's young Gary as Godzilla.
Yeah, I feel like they were
Right.
trying to set up like a South Korean Godzilla thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Better than the American Godzilla set up the ability for any sequel
Yeah, like as
ever.
a faithful as a faithful Godzilla movie, this is
It's
pretty
great.
good. Yeah,
I
this
mean,
could have been
in-
a Godzilla movie.
in the pantheon of Godzilla movies, this is on par with a lot of them. It's better.
I've
than,
seen a lot of
yeah,
Godzilla
they-
movies.
It's better than most.
Most of them are unbearable.
They're
my
real
gosh.
slow.
So this actually was very entertaining.
Yeah, I've seen no Godzilla movies, and this has been really enchanting for me. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Enchanting.
I
Right.
love that. I love the storyline.
Yeah, no, as far as Godzilla movies go, I think I enjoyed myself almost the whole way through.
yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's not a there are many boring Godzilla movies.
hmm
This was not one of them.
It was not what you expected. Can you say that?
It
It's
definitely
not. No, it was not what I expected.
Exactly.
I didn't expect jetpacks.
I
Yeah.
did though. At one point, I was like, "Well, they're gonna figure out he's good and then become their friend." And then,
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, it had like when it was too early in the movie. It was just
Yeah.
like, well, there has to be like a whole nother,
thing.
almost like a
I
whole
bet
nother
you
story
there
arc.
is some kind of following online for this. I bet somebody's
You
like
think
a
so?
young Gary fan.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder if they
If-
made toys and models and shit. Probably
clue.
not.
It's
Yeah.
weird because this
It's weird.
seems like this.
If it was Japanese, I bet there'd be something.
This seems
for
like
it.
in
At least a
Korea
toy.
or just in other
Mm.
countries, this might have actually been like kind of a movie that was considered pretty okay because they redid it for a
Yeah, I'm
reason.
sure they over. I mean,
And then
they would have
here-
overdubbed it with Korean
they
actors,
wouldn't-
and it probably would have seemed better. You know what
But
I
I'm
mean?
saying they released it here and it seems like a knockoff. Like that, you know what I mean? Like they market it like a knockoff, but it's not a knockoff of the
No.
American Godzilla whatsoever. So
I mean, it
whatever.
starts off so
Yeah.
fucking wildly with like
Yeah,
the
it's not.
explosion in the cave and then a spaceship, and you're
Get
just
ready to lose all
Like,
your
this
characters.
is not Godzilla.
Absolutely, they all die.
They all
Nothing
die.
like Matthew Project Godzilla.
Yeah, like you would think that Mills almost the Mills would have
makes
been Dr. Campbell.
You know-
Like he would have somehow made his way to the city or the control room, and he would have tried to keep young Gary alive because that's his reputation. He's like, I
Right.
discovered him. That is my.
You
Or,
need to keep
you know what
him.
I mean?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
This made me funny. Extra funny about the tagline is that it was marketed that way because then it made you have to have the tagline.
Exactly, yeah,
if you
right.
didn't make the poster look like the
Godzilla,
Godzilla,
I wouldn't have
96
expected
poster,
that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Right.
expected it.
Also, calling it Reptilian makes no sense.
yeah, they fucked up everything up, and they're like, well, it's not what you expect.
I'm gonna call this.
I don't know why we did any of this other stuff. It's
Just
not what
because
you
of
expect.
Amazon Prime, I'm gonna put Reptilian. But this movie should be called Young Gary.
Yes.
That's what it should
Young
be
Gary
called.
Is like the
Right.
main character.
Yeah,
in
it should be called that.
Yeah.
Reptilian's a shit title, and Reptile 2001 is.
Is
Even
even
worse.
that's confusing.
I
to
prefer
me.
that to Reptilian. I prefer that to Reptilian because
Reptile
Reptilian
2001?
is terrible. Reptilian is just a word that
Dude,
doesn't.
It's so almost not even a reptile, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it should be
Yeah.
called Young Gary. That's the actual
Yeah.
title.
I
of
wish
this.
it was called that, but
Yeah.
it was, I guess, at one point. But right?
Yeah.
The original.
Yes,
I-
it
or
says that on
guess it's-
IMDb.
I get,
so
what?
Either
Oh,
way.
the original movie
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just
it was
called
Young
Young
Gary.
either way,
Yeah.
I feel
was-
like am I? I'm not speaking for you guys, but I feel like we're recommending people watch this, right?
Oh, fuck
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
yeah, right.
100%
Definitely.
enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's people who've seen Godzilla movies and people who haven't seen
you
Godzilla
will
movies.
definitely enjoy if you haven't seen it.
Right.
'Cause, wow,
It could be a
whole new
gateway
world.
Godzilla movie for you.
I'm like kind of interested in seeing
Other
Godzilla
Godzilla
movies now,
yeah.
and I've
It was
never
more-
had that interest.
I
before.
actually, it was more entertaining than Final Wars. Like, it was cool to see all the Final Wars stuff, but
Right.
like it drug, and the
Yeah,
human
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
was super boring. This was at least like goofy and weird.
I'll say
It
this
was
right
really
now. Won't mean anything to you, but I prefer
Mhm.
this to the recent American Godzilla movie. The one that
good. Oh my god, yes.
you know, this was
Absolutely.
way more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Which
Which sucks to say because the effects are so cool.
oh no, it's
And,
a
but
beautifully filmed movie
the
that
rest
is
of
just
it is trash.
yes, this was way more enjoyable. This is what I wish that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I wish that movie was a jetpack movie.
If there were no
And
fucking,
this is the
that
jetpack
movie needed
movie.
jetpacks.
That is bad.
Really bad.
Bad.
I'm just
Bryan
saying.
Cranston in a jetpack would have been awesome.
Oh my God.
That movie dropped the ball.
You have to mop my seat up.
Bryan Cranston in a jetpack.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Bring out that T-Force at any time.
Right.
I love that.
Break out the T-Force when you
Yeah.
got nothing left, or you're
Right.
when you
Dude,
when all that's left is a
T-Force.
bunch of fire, and all you got is T-Force to come
Oh
and
my
mop it up. All right, that's it.
Yeah, watch it. It's on
Just watch
Amazon
it. It's
Prime.
on Amazon Prime, and it's the best not Godzilla movie ever.
It really is.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Caitlin.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You've just listened to Bonus Disc, available only on Thundergrunt. Questions, complaints, and movie suggestions can be posted to facebook.com/bonusdisc. Opinions and criticisms of the hosts of Bonus Disc are 100% valid, even though they took the time to watch the movies you were too ignorant to appreciate.